Have you ever found yourself in a season of silence where prayers seem to echo unanswered, doors remain closed, and the world moves on without you? It's in these quiet moments, these hidden seasons, that God is working in ways unseen and preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. What if I told you that this very moment of waiting is not a setback, but a divine setup? Waiting as a setup, that God has placed you in the shadows because your next blessing is too magnificent, too powerful, and too holy to be revealed too soon. Today we will journey together through the profound truth that God's hiddenness is not a punishment, but a sacred preparation, a holy pause before your breakthrough. Stay with me, because what God is doing in your life right now will change everything, and when He unveils it, it will speak louder than words ever could. Let us open our hearts to receive this life-changing message and embrace the hope that shines brightest in the darkest seasons. God's silence in your life is not a sign that He has turned His face away from you. It is not proof that you have fallen out of His favor or that your prayers have gone unheard. Silence in the hands of God is never wasted. It is purposeful. It is intentional. Divine concealment, though it feels like rejection, is often the sacred beginning of transformation. There is a certain kind of preparation that cannot happen in the public eye. There is a kind of growth that only takes place in the soil of obscurity. God hides what He is shaping deeply, because the foundation must be strong before the structure can be revealed. He is not trying to break your spirit. He is preparing your spirit to carry something heavier, something holy. When God hides you, it is because He is building you. There are things that only silence can teach you. There are strengths that only isolation can birth. And there are assignments that only grow roots in the dark. God is not ignoring you. He is insulating you. He is preserving you for a moment that has not yet arrived. You may look around and see others being celebrated, launched, elevated, promoted, and acknowledged, and still wonder why your time has not come. But your timeline is not man-made, it is heaven-ordained. Your process may not look like theirs because your promise was never meant to match theirs. This is not rejection, it is divine protection. If God were to release you too early, the weight of what you are called to carry would crush you. So He covers you in seasons that feel quiet, even barren, but those are the very places where your roots are growing deep. You are being anchored, not abandoned, and anchoring takes time. That time feels like hiding, but hiding is where intimacy with God is developed. It's where your faith is purified, it's where your identity is stripped of the need for applause, and your motives are aligned with heaven's vision. When God calls someone to carry something great, He takes them through a process of sanctified solitude. Moses spent years in the wilderness before leading a nation. David was anointed long before he sat on the throne. Joseph dreamed long before he ruled. Jesus Himself was hidden for 30 years before 3 years of public ministry. The pattern is clear. Hidden seasons precede holy assignments. If you are hidden, you are not forgotten. You are favored. You are trusted with the silence, because God knows you can carry it without losing hope. You are trusted with the stillness, because God knows you can wait without surrendering your faith. You are trusted with the absence of noise, because heaven is still working behind the scenes. Do not confuse concealment with condemnation. Concealment is sacred. God is keeping you close to His chest while He refines your character, rewrites your thinking, resets your rhythm, and reorders your heart. He is cutting away what cannot go with you into the next season. He is shedding layers of doubt, pride, fear, insecurity, and striving. And though this work is invisible to the world, it is powerful in the spirit. God is not exposing you now because what is being birthed in you is too precious to be touched by unclean hands, too raw to be examined by untrained eyes, and too holy to be revealed before its appointed time. There are seasons in life where it seems like God has wrapped you in silence, where the crowd has dispersed and the stage has gone dark. In those moments, it's tempting to feel forgotten or overlooked. But what we often fail to understand is that this divine silence is actually a covering, a holy concealment, designed not just to protect what is coming, but to protect you. God is not only interested in the blessing, He is deeply invested in the vessel that will carry it, and in His infinite wisdom He knows that certain blessings must be shielded in order to survive the weight of destiny. Before fruit can flourish, the root must go deep, and that process cannot happen under the spotlight. It must happen underground, where no applause echoes and no eyes pry. Being hidden is not a mark of being less important. It is a sign that you are being trusted with something sacred. If the blessing was small, God would have no reason to guard it. But because it carries the power to shape generations, break curses, or shift legacies, it must be concealed while it matures. God doesn't just hide the promise, He hides the person who will steward it, not to withhold, but to preserve. In this sacred pause, He is strengthening your shoulders to carry what's coming, increasing your discernment to handle spiritual warfare, and developing humility so that the blessing does not become your identity. God's hiding is His way of preserving purity in a world obsessed with performance. He hides His anointed so that they are not prematurely celebrated or broken under pressure they were never built to bear. The enemy watches too, and when God hides you, He does so not only from people, but from premature attack. He puts a veil over your life not to diminish your value, but to protect your purpose. Sometimes what you think is delay is actually divine shielding from battles you don't even see. There are spiritual storms that would have crushed you if you had been exposed too soon. There are voices that would have confused you if you had been promoted too early. There are platforms that would have praised the outer you before the inner you was rooted in truth. This hiding season is where God purifies your intentions, where He shapes your motives and teaches your heart to be satisfied with Him alone. It is the season where He reveals that your identity must not come from crowds or accolades, but from communion with Him. In that hidden place, He teaches you to be still, to hear His voice above your own desires, and to walk by faith rather than performance. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. You are not being silenced. You are being sanctified. And when the time is right, the same God who hid you will be the one who reveals you. But until then, learn to love the cover. The soil may feel tight, the dark may feel suffocating, the isolation may feel unbearable, but it is all working for your good. God is not just preparing the blessing for you, He is preparing you for the blessing. When you emerge, it will not be in weakness but in power. It will not be in confusion but in clarity. And the blessing will not be something you chase. It will be something you carry. Hiddenness is not the absence of purpose. It is its very birthplace. God is making sure that when you rise, you don't rise fragile. You rise fortified, protected, and ready to walk in what was always yours, preserved for such a time as this. There is a reason why God takes His time with certain lives. It is because what He is building in you is not ordinary, and what He plans to release through you must be strong enough to last. Great blessings do not come with quick arrivals. They are crafted through long seasons of refinement. Before God places anything heavy in your hands, He first strengthens your spirit. He does this in the secret places, where no one sees and no one celebrates. He allows tests that strip away pride, shake loose fear, and dig out doubt. These refining moments are uncomfortable, but they are necessary. If the foundation is not deep, the elevation will not last. God's delay is never aimless. His silence is never empty. He is stretching you, molding you, and pulling out of you a version of yourself that can hold what He is about to pour out. When you are called to carry something great, the process is never short. God does not give platforms to people He has not prepared. He knows the warfare that comes with promotion, the criticism that comes with visibility, and the responsibility that comes with influence. So He takes you through trials that sharpen your discernment. He walks you through deserts that build your endurance. He prunes your heart so that your motives are pure, Your voice is His, and your strength is rooted in grace. While others may be racing to be seen, God is asking you to remain unseen for a little while longer, because He knows that what you're carrying isn't just for a moment, it's for a mission, and that mission requires depth. This season of hiding is not about God withholding, it is about God shaping. Just as a blacksmith uses fire to form steel, so does God use pressure to form character. It is in these hidden moments that He rewrites your definition of success, shifts your dependence from people to Him, and teaches you how to worship without an audience. These are the moments where He breaks the desire for approval and replaces it with a hunger for obedience. The weight of your future cannot be carried by shallow faith. It demands roots that go deep into the soil of surrender, humility, and trust. God often allows misunderstanding in these seasons. People won't see your worth. Opportunities may pass by, doors may stay closed. But this is not punishment, it is purification. God is not trying to hurt you. He is helping you carry glory without crumbling under pressure. He is making you the kind of person who can be trusted with influence and not lose yourself. He is building in you a resilience that is not built on applause, but on truth. And when you come out of this season, there will be no doubt that God Himself carried you through it. You may wonder why it's taking so long, why others seem to be moving faster, why your gifts seem hidden. But know this, God is not in a rush. He is eternal, and when He prepares someone for greatness, He does not skip steps. What feels like a delay is actually divine timing. What feels like a wilderness is actually a workshop. God is not just preparing the blessing, He is preparing you to become the blessing. He is not concerned with fast. He is concerned with faithful. And if you remain faithful in the fire, in the silence, in the hiddenness, you will come forth not just with a blessing, but as a vessel who has been refined to carry it well. So do not resist the refinement. Embrace it. Let God finish His work, because when the time comes and He releases what He's been forming in the shadows, it will not only bless you, it will bless everyone connected to you. And it will last, because it was built in fire, shaped in silence, and released in glory. There are moments in life when the silence of your season starts to feel like you've been forgotten. People pass you by, opportunities slip through your hands, rooms you thought were meant for you seem to open for others. The enemy whispers that you've missed it, that God has changed His mind, or that you weren't enough to begin with. But heaven sees differently. Being overlooked by man is not the same as being forgotten by God. What others fail to notice, God treasures. What people miss, God remembers. You are not invisible to the one who formed you. You are not lost in the crowd to the shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one. Even in your hidden season, God is present, working and planning a future that only He fully understands. Sometimes, God will allow you to be unseen because He's teaching you to stop striving for visibility. He's training you to be content in His presence rather than dependent on people's applause. He's weaning you from the validation of men so that you can stand firmly in the truth of your identity in Him. This quiet season is not an indication of your lack of value. It's an invitation to discover where your true worth comes from. Your purpose does not begin when people recognize it. It begins when God speaks it. And if He has spoken something over your life, not 1 ounce of that word will return void. Even if it's hidden right now, it is still alive, still growing, still unfolding in divine time. When people pass you over, God does not. When doors close, He's still opening the right one. When nothing seems to move on the outside, heaven is still orchestrating your story behind the scenes. Just because the phone isn't ringing or the room isn't cheering doesn't mean your purpose has expired. God doesn't need a platform to position you. He needs your heart to trust Him in the shadows. Because it is in those quiet moments where no one sees, where no one praises, where no one affirms, that the deepest roots of your faith begin to take hold. That is where intimacy is built, not with the crowd, but with Christ. That is where dependence is born, not on opportunity, but on obedience. You are not forgotten, even if no one is calling your name. Heaven has not gone silent concerning you. There is a record of your prayers, a record of your tears, a record of your faithfulness when no one else was watching. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on schedule with God's timeline. He knows how to bring you to the forefront when it's time. He knows how to make your presence known when the season shifts. Until then, He hides you, not to punish you, but to protect what He's planting inside you. And when the fruit is ready, when the heart is steady, when the identity is secure, He will reveal you in a way that no man can deny and no enemy can undo. Being overlooked is not the end of your story. It is simply a chapter where God turns down the volume of the world so you can hear His voice more clearly. It is the place where He trains your spirit to be led by Him and not by the reactions of others. It is the wilderness where He prepares warriors, not celebrities, and when the time comes, the same people who passed you by will witness what God has done with your life. They will see not a product of popularity, but a vessel refined by presence, by pain, and by purpose. So do not lose heart. What is hidden now is held by God, and what He holds, He always brings to completion. God's timing is unlike anything we experience in this world. It doesn't move according to our schedules or our expectations. It moves by divine rhythm, led by eternal wisdom. When you are in a hidden season, it can feel like nothing is moving, nothing is changing, and nothing is coming together. But in the realm of the Spirit, delay is often a sign of divine orchestration. God is not denying you. He is preparing the stage. He is not saying no. He is saying not yet. And when the moment is right, when every piece is in place, when your heart is steady and your faith is grounded, He will bring everything together in a way that reveals His glory and not just your desire. There is a moment, appointed by heaven, when what was hidden will be revealed, not because you pushed for it, not because you demanded your moment, but because the time had finally come for God to unveil what He had been preparing in secret. It will not be a quiet whisper. It will not be subtle. When God moves, it shakes everything. And when it's your time, nothing and no one will be able to hold you back. Until that time, your job is not to force doors open. It is to remain faithful behind the closed ones. Your responsibility is not to chase visibility, but to chase the heart of God. When you are faithful in the quiet place, God will be faithful to reveal you at the right time. You may feel like you've been sitting in the shadows while others step into the spotlight. You may wonder why your gifts are still unseen, your calling still wrapped in silence. But if you understood the magnitude of what God is preparing, you would not rush it. You would fall to your knees and thank Him for the delay, because divine timing is not about being early or being first. It's about being exactly where God wants you to be, when He wants you to be there. And when you move with His timing, you don't have to strive, compete, or fear being overlooked. You know that what He has for you cannot be taken, stolen, or missed. When God's timing aligns with your obedience, doors open that no man can shut. Platforms appear that no human could have built. Favor flows in ways that have nothing to do with your qualifications and everything to do with His glory. That's the power of divine timing. It announces you without you having to announce yourself. It elevates you without you climbing ladders built by pride. It makes a way not because you are clever, but because you are surrendered. And when the blessing comes, it will come in fullness, not in fragments. It will come with peace, not pressure. It will come with confirmation, not confusion. So trust the timing of God. Trust that He knows what you don't. Trust that while you're waiting, He's working. Trust that even when the clock seems still, heaven's calendar is moving. Your job is not to guess the hour of your release. Your job is to be ready when it comes. Stay hidden if He says stay hidden. Stay quiet if He says be still. And when He says now, step into it with boldness, knowing that this moment was not built in a day. It was formed in silence, birthed in surrender, and brought forth by divine timing that cannot fail, because when it's God's time, it's not just your moment, it's His masterpiece, unveiled through your life. There is a kind of blessing that speaks for itself. It does not need to be broadcast. It does not need to be proven. It does not depend on people's approval or applause. It carries its own evidence, its own authority, and its own announcement. When God finally releases what He has been preparing in secret, there will be no need to explain yourself. The fruit will speak. The favor will confirm. The oil on your life will make it clear that you were not just waiting. You were being formed by the hand of God Himself. What He is doing in you is not for show. It's for impact. It's for purpose. It's for the display of His glory, not your promotion. In a world that chases validation, God calls His children to quiet trust. He doesn't ask us to convince others of our calling. He asks us to walk faithfully in the shadows until He brings the light. You don't have to defend what God is doing. You don't have to strive to be seen or fight to be known. If the blessing is truly from Him, it will carry the weight of His signature. It will unfold in such a way that no man will get the credit. It will not need to be forced, and it will not be small. It will be so clearly divine that even those who overlooked you will have no choice but to acknowledge the hand of God on your life. This is why God often hides those He intends to use greatly, because the unveiling is not supposed to be noisy. It is supposed to be holy. It is not about spotlight. It is about assignment. When the moment comes, the very things that once seemed distant will come rushing into alignment. Doors will open without you knocking. People will seek you out without you campaigning. Opportunities will appear that you never applied for. That is what happens when God reveals what He has kept hidden. His timing carries power, and His revelation brings clarity. You will not have to introduce yourself. You will not have to shout to be heard. What was developed in secret will be undeniable in public. The same voice that spoke light into darkness will speak your name into rooms you never imagined. Not because you are better than anyone else, but because you allowed God to do the deep work when no one was watching. You didn't despise the quiet season. You submitted to it. You didn't resist the pruning. You welcomed it. And now the same God who hid you will be the one who reveals you. And when He does, it will not be about your platform. It will be about His purpose. The announcement won't come from you. It will come through you. People will see the transformation. They will see the strength you gained in silence, the wisdom you developed in waiting, the humility that came through brokenness. They will witness not just a person who rose, but a vessel that was raised up by God's hand for a holy mission. There will be no striving in your steps, only peace. There will be no pride in your posture, only gratitude, because you will know that the only reason you stand where you do is because of the one who sustained you in the seasons when no one else saw you. So rest in the truth that your next blessing does not need an announcement. It needs your surrender. It needs your patience. It needs your trust. And when the time comes, it will speak so loudly that even the silence that came before will begin to make perfect sense. God's blessings have a way of silencing every doubt, answering every question, and fulfilling every promise. Because when He moves, He does not need help being seen. He just needs your willingness to wait until He says, now. As we come to the close of this reflection on the truth that God has hidden you in this season because your next blessing is too big to announce, remember that every moment of silence, every door closed, every season of waiting is part of a divine design far greater than we can fully understand. God's ways are higher than our ways, and His timing perfect beyond our human comprehension. Though the waiting may test your patience, though the hiddenness may challenge your faith, know that you are not forgotten, not overlooked, and certainly not forsaken. You are being prepared, protected, and positioned for a blessing so powerful and so profound that it requires the fullness of God's timing and the completeness of His refining work in your life. This season of concealment is not a period of absence, but a season of deep spiritual growth. God is working in the quiet moments to strengthen your faith, deepen your trust, and prepare your heart to receive and carry the blessing He has already set aside for you. He is shaping you into a vessel that can not only handle the blessing but also steward it wisely and humbly. Your hidden season is a sacred space where God writes your story of purpose, identity, and destiny. The challenges you face, the isolation you feel, and the silence you endure are all part of God's divine workshop, where He molds you for greatness. You do not need to strive for recognition or rush to announce what God has not yet revealed. Your job is to remain faithful in the unseen, to stay steadfast in prayer, and to continue walking in obedience even when the path is unclear. Trust that God's timing is perfect, that His plans for you are good, and that when the moment arrives, your blessing will speak for itself. It will be unmistakable, undeniable, and unmistakably from God. There will be no need to explain, defend, or fight for it, because God's hand will be evident in every part of your breakthrough. As you embrace this truth, may you find peace in the waiting, joy in the journey, and hope in the promise of what is to come. Your hiddenness is temporary. Your blessing is eternal. Your breakthrough is coming. Keep your eyes on God, your heart open to His leading, and your spirit ready to receive all that He has prepared for you. Thank you for allowing me to share this message with you today. It is my prayer that you leave encouraged, uplifted, and strengthened in your faith. May you walk boldly forward, knowing that God's favor surrounds you even now, and that your next blessing is on its way. Too great to announce, but perfect in its time. May God bless you richly and keep you steadfast until the day He reveals the fullness of His glory in your life. Thank you, and may His peace and grace be with you always.